What's up, movie nerds and basketball geeks? Welcome back to Movie Ball. Marvel movies! On today's episode, I'm reviewing the latest Martin Scorsese gangster epic, The Irishman, a Netflix original at 3.5 hours long! We thought Endgame might be pushing it. We thought It Chapter 2 was way too long. We thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was excessive in length. But then Marty Scorsese came around and said, fuck you all, watch this. So it's no surprise that this movie is getting rave reviews. Martin Scorsese returns to his roots of gangster cinema with De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci all returning to their roots. There's Oscar buzz across the board. Okay, boomer, this movie is boring as shit. This might be the only negative review of The Irishman, not only on YouTube, but ever, but I'll be the one to say it. I'll be the one to get exiled for my opinion, and even though it's my opinion, and you can have your opinion, and that's fine if your opinion is an opinion of liking the movie, and my opinion is not the one that likes that movie, but all these film fans just get so mad and spray their toxicity over you for having a different opinion. Just let me live and tell you why I did not like this movie. Let me start off with this. I technically didn't watch the whole movie. There's nothing technical about it, actually. I didn't. I fell asleep like 2 times in the middle of it somewhere, and it was only for a total of about 10 minutes, but I was so lost and bored at that point, I just kind of stopped paying attention. That might be kind of unfair to review a movie I didn't see all the way through, but I'll just take a page out of Martin Scorsese's book and say I didn't like it even though I didn't really watch most of it. Marvel movies. So yeah, a huge thing with this movie is obviously its runtime. 3.5 hours long. My God, that is not justifiable. Okay, if you loved the movie and you loved the runtime, how long it was, and you thought it could have even been longer, that's great. But you cannot persuade me that with this story and the ideas that this film is presenting, that it should have been 3.5 hours long. I don't believe so. And Martin Scorsese knows a thing or two about long movies. Most of the movies in his filmography are 2.5 hours plus in length. The Wolf of Wall Street was 3 hours long. The difference, The Wolf of Wall Street was a fast-paced, energetic, relentlessly entertaining movie that never stopped. The Irishman, one of the slowest, most dialogue-driven, unexciting movies in Scorsese's entire catalog. For a gangster movie, there's hardly any of that action that was a staple in his earlier films. And look, there doesn't have to be, but you have to entertain me at 3.5 hours in length. The story and the ideas that they wanted to express in this film could have been told in under 2 hours. Let me get to the 3 main performances that everyone is raving about. Robert De Niro is playing Robert De Niro. There's nothing revolutionary or special about his performance. He's been doing this for years. He's playing Robert De Niro. Not that he's bad. He's good. It's Robert De Niro, but it's Robert De Niro. There's nothing different here. Joe Pesci's back. He hasn't acted in years, so it was good to see him. And everyone talks about how quietly intimidating and scary he is in this movie, but I don't think he really did anything with his performance. And then Al Pacino, the third actor that everyone's raving about in this film, the 3 greatest actors of all time, right? Al Pacino comes in and does this very over-the-top and hammy performance that I actually found to be quite bad. So you've got 3 performances that are almost locked for Oscar nominations that I didn't find to be compelling in any way. You've got a 3.5 hour slog of a storyline that has lazily excessive narration from Robert De Niro, and that's the movie. I was on board for the first 30 minutes or so. You know, you've got to give a movie time to marinate and get you invested in everything. And it's 3.5 hours long. So you've got to give it time to kind of build its world. And then it just started to get kind of boring. And after the boredom kicked in, there was just a lot of really stupid things that were irritating me. Like, for instance, Joe Pesci's character calls Robert De Niro's character kid, even though De Niro's visibly in his 50s. I never bought into De Niro actually joining this gang or organized crime unit or whatever, because it just happens so fast and there's no time to really understand what his motives are or why he's even really joining this. It just happens. I guess because it's a Scorsese film with De Niro, you're just expected that he's going to get involved in a gang and crimes, and you just know this is going to happen, so let's just move past it and get to the other shit. So I don't know, he's just all of a sudden a tough guy and he's not taking shit from anyone, and it's just kind of what? It's just kind of laughable. And then there's this scene, my God, where De Niro, his daughter is shoved by someone, so he goes to the place of the person that shoved his daughter, and he starts beating the shit out of this guy, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing hard. I'm laughing at this because the way they show it or the way they film it or whatever, it's just so cringy because he's so old and it looks so pathetic because when he slaps the guy or kicks him, the guy's moaning in pain but it looks so fake, and it looks like an old guy just going like that, and he's like, it's just so funny to me. It looks so fake and old. It looked like you're an old person, and it just feels like that's what this whole movie is about. Just De Niro and Pesci and Scorsese and Pacino being old and trying to relive their glory days of making these awesome gangster films. And I think there's a message in this movie about that, how, they're all getting older. That's kind of the whole point, but it just feels very cheap and cringy to me. It just feels like these old guys trying to relive their youth, and it just comes off very uncomfortable and forced. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I was not enjoying it the way I wanted to. Obviously I had sky-high expectations. I love Martin Scorsese movies. He's one of the greatest directors and filmmakers of all time, and so many people were hyping this thing up, and so many people were shitting on Marvel movies in the process, which is fine. If you don't like Marvel movies, cool. There's so many people, are putting Marvel movies down in favor of this movie. They don't have to compete. It's just been such a stupid, dumb debate and spark over the past 2 months that, it's annoying. So, look, I'm going to rewatch this at some point because I want to see the whole movie. I want to see the movie the way it was intended, with a complete, cohesive narrative structure, and I want to see what I missed and if it'll make me feel any differently about the film. But from what I saw, I can almost guarantee that I won't feel much different, because what I saw was a good portion, and it was pretty boring. I think it's very pretentious in its 3.5-hour runtime, and I can tell you that a lot of Marvel movies are better than this. I'm going to give The Irishman a 5 out of 10. There's some good stuff in here, obviously. It's a Martin Scorsese film. He made Goodfellas, The Wolf of Wall Street, The Departed. I fucking love those movies. Scorsese is one of the best filmmakers of all time, like I said, but for some reason, The Irishman didn't resonate with me. Well, the reasons that I mentioned is why it didn't resonate with me. If you like Scorsese movies, which most people do, then you should still definitely watch this film. Don't listen to me. I'm just expressing my opinion because it's my channel, and I can do that, but I'm just telling you how I feel, and if you feel like you might feel the same way, then listen to me. But if you're expecting a Goodfellas or a Departed, steer clear if that's what you want, because you will be disappointed then, because this movie is not like that, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, but it is getting that awards buzz and talk. So if you're interested, definitely just fire up Netflix and give it a shot. Smash that like button. I've been disappointed with a lot of movies this year.